Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's director of simulcasting, Jim Goodman. Just a spectacular card on Saturday. It is the headline to the Grade 1 Toyota Bluegrass Stakes, $750,000 pot. And there's an all-stakes pick 4 and all-stakes pick 5, and we're going to take a look at all 5 of those stakes races. Just a reminder that we'll take a look at the Oaklawn card as well, headlined by the Arkansas Derby, in a separate podcast, as we normally check stakes races around the country here on the Saturday In the Money podcast. So, Jim, let's start out with the 7th race. It's the Grade 3 Commonwealth, and it's a sprint for 4-year-olds and up, and all of these are tough handicapping challenges. Where did you land in the Commonwealth?
Oh, this is so much fun when I was doing this last night. We got some great races and big fields. And this race, I did narrow it down to a couple of horses. I thought that I really liked Laugh Track the last time out in at Gulfstream. It didn't really run very well, and the last time he ran well is the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And I liked him that day, got beat by neck by Secret Circle. So I'm going to go back to Laugh Track, hoping that he will enjoy his return to Keeneland and the poly track. But he's got a bad post. He's on the inside, and he doesn't have that much speed, so Lescano's really got to put out a trip with him. So I hope he can get the trip and get up the wire. But the other horse that I like is Long Hunter. Long Hunter is the 7 for Michael Maker, and the horse a year ago just was kind of floundering, and all of a sudden woke up at Gulfstream on a turf and won by 6 3/4 and 5 1/2. And don't know how he'll go back to the poly track. Back early in his career, he ran on the poly track okay, but he's gotten a lot better. So I'm going to take Long Hunter and Laugh Track in probably a $10 exacta box.
I ended up taking a little bit of a swing here with Undrafted. The 5-horse broke his maiden on this track for Wesley Ward, and I like the work pattern, so I'm thinking maybe this horse is coming back to a top effort. I like that Johnny Velasquez takes the ride on this one. So I'm going to take a shot with Undrafted here. Laugh Track I would use with him. Dimension I liked a little bit out of Canada. Ran some nice races last year up north, including races on poly track at Woodbine. So Undrafted is the pick for me, and I'll key him in exactas with Laugh Track, the 1, Dimension, the 3, and Quiet Force, the 6. The 8th race is the Grade 3 Shakertown, and this is a turf sprint, and these often produce just some great blanket finishes. I'm taking another swing here with looking for some prices on this day. Channel Marker, the 1. And I talked to Al Stahl Jr. for an interview for the Keeneland YouTube channel, and you can see it there. And he said this horse usually touts himself when he's ready to run big with the way he's training. And Stahl says he's seeing that kind of performance on the track in the mornings for Channel Marker. So he's thinking he's coming up to a really big performance. And 15-1, Corey Nakatani's a great turf rider. This horse has already won on the Keeneland lawn. So just a lot of things to like at a 15-1 price. Go Blue or Go Home, training very well, and I think is very dangerous in here. Havelock loves this track, and you have to use him. I think he's almost undefeated on it. I think it's 4 for 5. So Channel Marker, the 1 for me, and then I'll key him in exactas with Go Blue, Go Home, with Havelock, and then also maybe a small exacta with another long shot Animal Style, who's run well here before for Maker. What about you?
Yeah, I think you can see from these races that there's going to be very little consensus opinion.
Yeah.
I do like Havelock. I think he really is the best bet in the race simply because he's won here before. He finished in a photo finish with something extra last year in this race, and I think those two are a good exacta box. Havelock is 4 for 5 at Keeneland, so I'm going to key the 6 over the 2. Probably do a little exacta box, and then also use Shrinking Violet, the 3, and Gantry, the 13. I really like, but I don't like the 13 hole in a turf sprint like this. But Gantry is a class horse, and could get there for a price. Not many throwouts in this race, but I'm going to go with Havelock slightly over something extra.
Gantry, the post position is what threw me off Gantry. I would have definitely thrown him in there. 9th race is the Grade 1 Madison. It's fillies and mares at a 7-furlong sprint, and it was a great finish in this race last year. How do you see this one shaking out?
Well, this one was the one that jumped out at me as a possible single in our pick 4s and pick 5s, and it's Judy the Beauty. Wesley Ward brings her back here, and she's 3 for 3 at Keeneland. Johnny Velasquez, Wesley Ward, almost won the Breeders' Cup Mare Sprint last year, almost beat Groupie Doll at Santa Anita after 2 really great races here. So She won TCA last year. I think everything points to Judy the Beauty. She's working well, stretches out back to 7 furlongs. She's done that before. I like her a lot in this race. On top of Apropos, the 2 with Bridge Behind Install, and Bairama, a horse that they took out the Del Mar, and they kind of tried it on a synthetic. They run it a 1.25 miles, 1.8 miles. Now they think 7 furlongs might be the best distance for this horse. So I like Bairama on the poly out there, or on the poly at Del Mar. And I think maybe come back into Keeneland that she might run big. The other horse I would take underneath is the outside horse, Eden Prairie, who has run well here in the past.
There is a consensus here. I have the same 4 horses mentioned. I'm going to pick Bairama for the win because the price is very attractive, and she's making her second start for Bill Mott, and I think Mott could certainly move her up, and maybe second start he may have learned a little bit about her. I think you're right about this distance maybe being her best. Turning back from a longer distance is always a good angle in 7 furlong races. So I'm going to take Bairama mainly because of the price, because I think you're right. Judy the Beauty and Apropos are the ones to beat. And Eden Prairie, a very live long shot, another YouTube channel interview I did yesterday with Neil Pessin, who trains Eden Prairie. And they've been pointing for this race ever since she ran big in a similar race here last fall. Just don't know if she's quite good enough to take down these. So Bairama's the one for me, and I'd use Judy the Beauty and Apropos and Eden Prairie all in exacta boxes with Bairama, and use probably the top 3 of those in horizontal wagers. The 10th race is the Jenny Wiley, Grade 1 for fillies and mares on the turf, going a mile in the 16th. And this was a toss-up for me between the 2 Stephanie's Kitten and the 10 Center Court. Always been a big fan of both of these. Center Court was very impressive, I thought, in her first outing of the year. Did an interview with Rusty Arnold opening weekend, and he said that she was not fully cranked up for that, so she should improve. Stephanie's Kitten now goes for Chad Brown. He wins at a 25% clip with newcomers to his barn. So if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick Stephanie's Kitten because of the better post position. But actually the way I would bet it is key those 2 on top in exactas. That would be 2 and 10 over, 2 and 10 plus Kitten's Point the 1 and Abaco the 4 for Shug McGahee. What about you?
I'm going to take Center Court. I'm going to take the class. I'm going to say that she's going to overcome the outside post position.
She very well could.
She defends her title in Jenny Wiley, and the Honey Fox at Gulfstream set her up perfectly for this last year. Rusty Arnold brings her back in exactly the same pattern, and I just think the race sets up perfectly. The 10-hole I don't think is going to hurt her that much around the 16th. I think it gets her outside the trouble, and I think she's going to run down in the lane. I think your horse, Stephanie's Kitten, is certainly there. I like a horse in Class Included. Class Included is taking a huge step up in class, but back when in Florida, Corey Lannery was riding this horse and thought she just was really on top of her game, and she hasn't quite panned out, but they're going to take a shot in the Grade 1 here, and I think they got a shot, and she may be 15-20 to 1. Cloudscapes has a shot,
and she's 30 to 1.
The price, pardon me?
And Cloudscapes is 30 to 1. Tells you what the field is like here.
And the other one that's really fits is Fitful Skies for Kerry McLaughlin. Horse, first time North America ran a 98 buyer back in October, almost won the E.P. Taylor Grade 1 at Woodbine. So I think this race I think Center Court is the best horse in the race. If she gets the trip, she wins. But I think you can keep 5 or 6 horses below her in the trifecta and get some prices.
I would agree with that. Race 11 is the main event, the Grade 1 Toyota Bluegrass Stakes. And it's a full field of 14 for the second straight year, and some really good horses are drawn way outside. How did you see this one shaking out?
Well, it was funny when I was doing this race yesterday, and I was thinking Keeneland's going back to dirt in the fall, and we used to do 1, 2, 3 exacta boxes. I'm sure that you did the same thing. That it's just a merry-go-round a lot of times in the old dirt track. We're going to build a better dirt track, so it's not going to be that way. I came up with the possibility of a 12, 13, 14 exacta try box here. And you don't see many 13, 14 exacta boxes anywhere, but I think the best 3 horses, along with Bobby's Kitten and a long shot I'm going to throw in here, are on the outside. I think Medal Count won the Transylvania Grade 3 on opening day, and Dale wheels him back in 8 days. That's a good sign to me, and they're going to try to give him a Derby. And he's hung on the outside along with Ben Sermos and Galo Award, but they to me look like the class of the race, and they all are outside. Bobby's Kitten is probably going to go favored because of Ramsey. Never been on synthetic. A lot of the horses haven't been on synthetic. They're making the argument that their turf horses are going to win a Derby prep and get the Derby off that angle. But I'm not so sure that Bobby's Kitten is going to have that easy a time with this field. I think there's a lot of good horses in here. There aren't any world beaters. There aren't any Derby horses unless somebody just jumps up and gets real good here at the end. But maybe Bobby's Kitten could be that horse. So those 4 horses are the ones I would use in a try box. But there's a horse I'm going to give you that has been training well, got a little buzz on the track. The 7 horse, Casa Guapo.
Ooh.
And this horse ran the Delta Jackpot, got beat by Rise Up, got beat by Havana, got beat by Strong Mandate. Yes, I'm lucky. The horse has caught some really tough fields. I don't know what happened last time at Gulfstream Park, went off as one of the favorites in the $75,000 official claiming, but they really like this horse. And the horse just made, every once in a while, you'll get a horse that runs on dirt that really jumps up on polytrack. And the works have been good and coming into the race well, and this horse is going to be a big price. So I'm going to go with, if I had to pick a horse on top, I would take Medal Count, and I would use Bobby's Kitten, Gala Award, Vencermos, and Casa Guapo underneath.
Casa Guapo comes out of a breeding program involving students at the University of Kentucky. And so it's got a real
nice
hometown angle there, too. So got that going for you. I ended up with Medal Count as well for a lot of those same reasons you mentioned. I like the turning back in 8 days as a big sign of confidence for Dale Romans. I talked to Robbie Alvarado yesterday, and this interview's up on the YouTube channel, and he was saying they've loved this horse since before he ever ran. They've been very high on him and think he can run on any surface. And so maybe he just kind of, the light bulb finally came on for him in the Transylvania. And if he improves off that, I think he's the winner here. Tough post position, similar to what he had in the Breeders' Futurity here last fall. And he ran 5th, beat about 2.5, and Robbie thought he should have won that day and encountered some traffic problems. So that's going to be an issue today. He comes from out of it. But I'm going to take Medal Count as well. As far as who to key with him, Bobby's Kitten you have to use. Javier Castellano talked to him yesterday, and he acknowledged that the 1 1/8 is a question for this horse. And with all the speed in here, I think that even makes it a bigger question mark. So I think he could get run down in the final 16th. But got to use him on class. So the 13 with the 5 Bobby's Kitten, the 14 Gala Award, and then also the 1 Asserting Bear, who I don't think was on the best part of the track in the spiral and still ran very well for Reed Baker, and I think is a live long shot at a price in here as well. But Medal Count, the 13 is a price for me. So let's take a look at the all-stakes pick 4 that starts with race 8. I'm using 3 horses in the Shakertown, Channel Marker, Go Blue or Go Home, and Havelock. Then I'm using 3 horses in the Madison, by Rama, Judy the Beauty, and Apropos. I'm using Stephanie's Kitten and Center Court in the Jenny Wiley. Then I'm using Medal Count, Gala Award, Bobby's Kitten, and Asserting Bear, all in the Bluegrass. 3x3 by 2x4. What about your all-stakes pick 4?
Okay, the all-stakes pick 4 I'm going to use in the first leg, the 2, 3, 6, and the 13. It's just something extra, Havelock. 2, 3, 6, 13. Something extra, Shrieking Violet, Havelock, and the outside horse, which is Gantry, just in case he does run well. I'm going to single Judy the Beauty in the second leg, and then I'm going to use 2, 5, 7, 10 in the Jenny Wiley, hoping that I do get a price there. And then the last race, I'm going to use the 5 horses we talked about. I'm going to use Bobby's Kitten, Vencermos, Medal Count, Gala Award, and Casa Guapo. So I think that's a 4x4 by 1 by 4 by 5, which comes out around $40, I think.
Now, there is an all-stakes pick 5 if you want to go back one more leg to the Commonwealth. So if folks want to do that, who would you include for the Commonwealth?
I just double my price on the ticket. I'd go 1-7 in the Commonwealth. That's Last Track and Long Hunter, and might even I wouldn't single. I can't choose between those two. So I would take 1-7 with 2, 3, 6, 13, with 4, with 2, 5, 7, 10, with 4, 5, 7, 12, 13, 14, and that would be an $80 all-stakes pick 5 ticket.
I did not have a real strong opinion on the Commonwealth. I'd use Undrafted, Laugh Track, Dimension, and probably Long Hunter as well. I'd try to use 4 in there and then trim it back somewhere else. Maybe toss out Asserting Bear out of the Bluegrass would be one shot. and it's hard really to pare it down beyond that. So, you can use the 50-cent increment, so that helps. Best of luck with your wagers. Just a tremendous card. It's like a mini Breeders' Cup type card with the field sizes and the quality. So enjoy a great day of racing. A reminder that we're going to do a separate podcast for the stakes races out at Oaklawn, headlined by the Arkansas Derby. So make sure you check that out as well. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This is the In the Money podcast on KeenelandSelect.com.